You gotta understand that banners have value for certain people that are in a certain place in the game, and some banners won't have value for certain people that may have more characters in their box. If you are new to the game, I would say if you've been playing for a year and a half, 2 years, this step up banner is going to have some value for you if your RNG has been bad, if you haven't been able to pull a lot of leaders or a lot of units with decent leader skills to create cohesive teams that you can actually run in events and stuff. As a new player, this New Year Dokkan Festival step up banner for 600 stones still has value for you if you've been playing for a year or two. If your rank is below, I would say 300, it's gonna have value for you with this guaranteed featured units. If you're above rank 300, I would say it's up to your discretion. I mean, ultimately it's always up to your discretion whether or not you should actually summon on a banner, because you got to look at your own account and ultimately decide, does this actually have value for me? But I'm telling you right now, if you are fairly new to the game, under rank 300, or you've been playing for only a year or two, this banner's most likely, not guaranteed, but most likely is going to have a lot of value for you. But let's go ahead and go through each step so you know exactly whether or not you should summon on this banner, so that you can make that decision for yourself. Look at your box, look at what you have, and figure out exactly whether or not this is the banner for you to summon on, because I'm not going to make that decision for you, but I'm going to give you all the information I can to you so that you can make that informed decision for yourself. So step 1 requires 20 stones, and it says right here, when performing a summon in this step, the 10th character is guaranteed to be an SSR leader who can strengthen at least one of the following types of characters. For example, this cooler right here, you could possibly pull him. He leads Terrifying Conquerors or Transformation Boost. That would be a specific category he leads. Something noteworthy is that all these units that you have a chance at pulling have their EZAs. If you really want to take a deep dive into whether or not this banner has some value for you, you can go ahead and take a look at these guys' Extreme Z battle info and see if you actually have a cohesive team that can take on that Extreme Z battle, because you do need specific categories to take on certain Extreme Z battles. You have a chance at pulling any one of these units and also getting their Extreme Z Awakening medals so that, you know, they're relevant in the current meta. So because a lot of these units under a 200% leader skill are going to be, you know, anywhere from decent to really, really good. Like this Turles right here, a great card, a absolutely monstrous card after his EZA. This guy is really good after his EZA. This Gohan's really good after his EZA, especially under the new Trunks and Vegeta, the LR Trunks and Vegeta's leader skill. Absolutely fantastic. He's okay. I would say he recently got his EZA, but I'm not like overly impressed with it. This Goku and Frieza, they stack attack and defense, so they're good for long events. This cooler right here, he does lead Wicked Bloodline. Of course, we have the new LR Final Form cooler, who is a better leader skill for Terrifying Conquerors and movie bosses, but he does lead with Wicked Bloodline after GGA. He has a full 170% to Wicked Bloodline category. And Wicked Bloodline, honestly, if you don't have LR Final Form cooler, if you happen to summon on this step and get this guy right here, Wicked Bloodline has been buffed quite a bit since the worldwide download celebration. So he would be an absolutely fantastic pull for you to, or a fantastic unit for you to have, especially if you are relatively new to the game. And this tech hits, he's all right, but he's really the only good Universe 6 category leader, so he has that going for him. This Goku's actually pretty good. This cooler is going to be the best unit in this first step. He really is. This is the guy you actually want. If you do not have this cooler, even if you don't have dupes, you want this guy. You definitely want this guy right here. So I would say this cooler, this metal cooler, and this Gohan, this Vegeta right here, this Turles are going to be some of the best units you can pull in this first step. And then we've got step 2, which takes 30 stones. And in step 2, it says right here, when performing a summon in this step, the 10th character is guaranteed to be an SSR who can be awakened into an LR. So you get a guaranteed LR. These are yellow coin LRs. Yellow coin banners are not great to pull on because they just don't have a lot of value in the overall banner itself. You may see the new shiny unit that can be Dokkan Dokkan Awaken into an LR, but the banners themselves are absolutely trash most of the time. So once again, another reason why this New Year's Step Up banner actually has a lot of value for those of you who do not have some of these LRs in this step right here. So you got this LR Frieza, and once again, something noteworthy as well is all these units have their EZAs as well. So once again, if you would like to take a deep dive into your own box and figure out which EZAs you can take on, which ones you can actually do, you can look up their EZA infos in their Extreme G battles and figure out if you have a team that can actually take on that Extreme G battle for one of these units and figure out if that's going to have value for you. So, but I'm going to leave that up to you if you want to take a deeper dive into that. But these characters, for the most part, are pretty good. This Cell's actually pretty good as after his EZA. This Bardock's pretty good after his EZA as well. This Broly right here, this is the guy you actually want to be looking for if you're summoning on this banner. This Broly after his EZA is one of the best EZAs in the game. One of the best LR EZAs in the game. He has an attack all. He's a World Tournament destroyer. So if you're one of those people that actually grind World Tournament and don't have this guy literally is your cheat code to World Tournament. This Majin Vegeta and this Gohan are not too impressive after the EZAs. Definitely some of the more disappointing EZAs in the pool of LRs that have gotten EZAs. Definitely this Broly is what you're looking for, and then all the other EZAs are either decent to pretty good. I wouldn't say they're absolutely fantastic or groundbreaking by any means, but they can definitely help your teams out if you pull any of these units and are able to Extreme Z Awaken them. And then we move on to step 3, which is the same as step 1, except these characters are newer Dokkan Festival exclusives and do not have EZAs. So some of them may have fallen off. Honestly, this is part of the reason why a lot of people are saying that this banner doesn't have a lot of value, because these guys have leader skills that are not in the 200% or 170% meta. These units are good, but if they're under a 200% leader skill or a 170% leader skill, the leader skills themselves from these units are not going to be your best leader skills. Essentially in step 3, you're actually pulling units to actually use a unit on another leader skill that's better, because you're not going to be using most of these units as leaders in the current meta. You may use them as leaders to take on Dokkan events and easier events like that, but if you're trying to do harder events like Red Zone, Cell Max, there are certain scenarios where you're going to need 170% lead or a full 200% leader skill, which these guys do not have. This is where it does get a little bit dicey as far as value goes, but once again, if you are completely new to the game, if you're really fresh, 6 months or less, or even a year or 2 into the game, you could still get some value out of this by getting some pretty decent units. And what I mean by decent is units that are good under a 200% leader skill, because a lot of these units have fallen off. I mean, besides this Gohan right here, this Gohan's the GOAT right now. This guy is forever aging. He has fallen off a little bit, but this guy has guaranteed guard, and to be honest, when you're looking at this guy, you're not looking at his leader skill. You're looking at his kit and the fact that he guards all the time, stacks attack and defense, actually greatly stacking attack and defense. So a very, very good unit. So if you happen to pull him, that's a lot of value for you. But for the most part, these units have fallen off a bit and are not exactly usable in the current meta of things when you're trying to take on harder events like Red Zone and Cell Max. So once again, it's really ultimately up to you whether or not these steps have value for you. You got to take a look at your box and see what you have and decide for yourself ultimately. But I'm telling you right now, it is going to have some value for you if you are fairly new to the game. Step 4 requires 50 stones, and it says when performing a summon on this step, the 10th character is guaranteed to be powerful SSR category leader. And what that means, these are actually where the 200% leaders are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first 5 are 200% leaders, and I wouldn't say they're the best 200% leader skills. They're good, but they're definitely not the best. Super Saiyans and Goku's family, that's very flexible. And then under the Android/Cell Saga category, gets the extra 30% for the full 200% leader. I actually like this leader skill. That's actually one of the better ones, because Super Saiyans is a very common category, and so is Goku's family. So you can mix and match, even if they're not necessarily on the Android/Cell Saga category. they're at least still getting the full 170% from Super Saiyans or Goku's family. This cell, he leads Android/Cell Saga or Power Absorption, and then Android's category gets the extra 30% for the full 200% leader. And this cell, he's really good after he actually transforms fully into his final form, because he is a transforming unit and he transforms in steps. This Raditz, absolutely terrible, but he is one of the more unique 200% leader skills, which is Saiyan Saga or Pure Saiyans. And then, you know, the extra 30% or the full 200% going to space traveling warriors. The unit itself, this Raditz, just isn't very good. So not a lot of people are going to be running him unless they absolutely need his leader skill. This Majin Buu, Vegeta's family category leader skill with this Majin Vegeta right here is decent. And then Gifted Warriors gets the extra 30%. I would say this is a less commonly used leader skill because Gifted Warriors is a little bit small. You're mostly going to get the 170% with Majin Buu Saga. It does get a little bit dicey with the Gifted Warriors category getting the extra 30% because most of the Vegeta's family are the ones with the Gifted Warriors category tag. But nonetheless, if you want to run a mix between Vegeta's family and Majin Buu Saga category units, Majin Buu Saga, if they don't have the Gifted Warriors category in their kit, they're still getting the full 170%, which is still decent. So even though his leader skill is not the best, a little bit dicey, a little bit selective, he is a great unit himself on the LR Trunks and Vegeta's leader skill. And then of course you have Captain Ginyu. I'm not going to say too much about him because his leader skill is all right. Terrifying Conqueror is a pretty good big category. Planet Namek Saga could still use some work, but obviously the extra 30% going to Space Traveling Warriors paired with Terrifying Conquerors, you're going to get a lot of units with the 200 under the full 200% leader skill. The only issue is this Ginyu relies heavily on the initial banner units he came with, which is the Birder and Jace unit and also the Recruitment Goldo unit, for him to fully realize his potential inside of his kit. So this Ginyu really isn't ideal to run without those two banner units on the team to help him reach his full potential as a unit. And then that's the end of the 200% leaders. This Goku's pretty good, but he's just doing damage and doesn't have a whole lot of defense within the current meta. This Kid Buu's still pretty good. Once he actually gets a 200% leader skill, he will be very good. And then you've got the androids. They have an active skill that basically gives you a ghost usher to a specific unit, so you can stop one unit from attacking for that turn, which is a very good thing to have in like Super Battle Road. This Trunks right here, fallen off. These guys have pretty much fallen off. They're going to be good for longer events because they stack attack and defense, but other than that, they're not too great. This Vegeta has that guaranteed crit, but there are more and more units coming out with guaranteed crit with better leader skills and better kits than he has. And then we are going on to the last step, which is step 5. When performing a summon on this step, the 10th character is guaranteed to be an SSR character who can be Dokkan awakened into an LR. So this would be the same as step 2, I believe, that you get the guaranteed LR. Step 2. Yeah. So that's going to be the same as step 2, except they're going to be newer yellow coin LRs that do not have Extreme G Awakenings because they are newer. They are more close to performing in the current meta. And I would say between all these LRs, Janemba is going to be one of the better ones. These guys are not too great. This guy's not too great. They have damage reduction, but in most cases, these guys are not going to be used. This Android 17 becomes an LR with Goku, Gohan, Golden Frieza, and who else? Vegeta. He's not that great. This Frieza, who becomes an LR, Android 17 and Frieza, is not that great. He needs an easy A. I would say out of all these LRs, Janemba is going to be your best one, probably. These guys are decent. These guys are pretty good. They just need a better team surrounding them. Of course, this Goku right here is a glass cannon. He's all about damage and coming right out of the gates. You know, first turn, he's going to be able to deal a lot of damage for you. But other than that, you know, it's not too great in other terms. This Goku and Piccolo unit right here, they're pretty decent, but once again, they just don't have a team, a cohesive team that surrounds them that's gonna really perform well in the current meta. This unit right here would probably be the best one after Janemba. So this wouldn't be number 2 in within this list of units that they have for the guaranteed features. And then this Vegeta is all right. I haven't personally used him, but I've seen a lot of gameplay and a lot of showcases with him. It's not really usable in a whole lot of situations. Very limited unit right here. And then this future Gohan and Youth Trunks right here, they're actually a pretty good unit. I do enjoy them. So they have an exchange active skill and also a revive. I mean, if you know, you know. But revive is one of the strongest skills, or one of the strongest parts of kits in this day and age, because the revive basically gives you a free second chance. So those events like red zone, the harder events that limit your items, revive is very, very powerful. Even extreme Z battles. So, and these guys are not great. I would say this Vegeta is actually pretty good, the one that exchanges into Goku, but the current meta just doesn't call for these types of units right here. After completing 3 rounds of Step Up Summon, New Year Dokkan Festival will become available. You can perform single summons and multi-summons in the New Year Dokkan Festival. So after you complete the 3 rounds of the Step Up, it's going to become like a normal banner, where you can do singles and multis, which I do not recommend you do after you finish the Step Ups. And keep in mind that the full 3 rounds of Step Up Summons cost a total of 600 Dragon Stones. And I hope you found this video a little bit helpful. I hope I was able to shed some light on whether or not this banner is actually for you. If you enjoyed the content, if you found it helpful in any way, we are on the road to 10K. You know, consider subscribing. If there's anything I can improve on, please let me know down in the comments below how I can improve these videos for your benefit, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to benefit you. I'm here to give you as much information as possible to make the best informed decisions possible for your Dokkan account. So I will catch y'all in the next one.